I'm Victor Margiotta, and this is The Community Show. My guest tonight is Matthew Gullotta, and this is another show that's 3 years in the making. A friend of mine, Cecilia Mastorelli, Roris, said, you know, there's a guy in Ossining that does a lot of work for people, helping out, that mostly people that are experiencing tragedies, and you should get him on the show. So I've been thinking about it. Finally, I found him on Facebook, and I messaged him, and I said, look, Matt, I have a local community show that focuses on people that are involved in the community, and I would love to have you on the show. And guess what? Matt said yes. So he's here tonight, and we're going to talk about all the wonderful things that he does for the community. Thanks so much, Matt, for coming on.
Thank you, Victor.
All right. I appreciate it. So just tell us a little about, I always love to talk about family. I come from a big family, and, you know, to me, it's the most important thing. So tell us about where you grew up.
Yeah, I mean, family first. I was born in White Plains. I grew up in Terrytown. And when I was 4 years old, my father was in construction, master plaster. My mom worked at the Phelps Hospital and the Westch Medical Center as a secretary. And I had my brothers and sisters, and when I was 4 or 5, there was a major fire in Terrytown, the second one. So now on Route 9, it's left of Skyro. It was Barclays Bank back in the day. And it wiped, we had 5 apartments. And that was the second fire. The first fire was in 72, and then this fire was in 76, our fire.
Oh, my gosh.
And, you know, it was, the only thing I remember is, look, they got us out of the fire, and we did not, no one got hurt, thank God. But we lost everything. One of the apartments was completely gutted. And I remember looking at my uncle and aunt's house. They lived up the street, and I saw the flames. And my mom and my aunt was knew the nuns at Marymount College. So we stayed in the hallway with a curtain for 2 weeks. And we came from a big family too. There's 5 of us,
Yeah.
and it's just everybody had to stay in different parts of the town with friends and stuff.
Right.
And the community came out to this day. There's a newspaper article, and my dad's holding me and my brother.
Right.
And my mom was like, the shoe store gave us shoes. Baskin and Robbins, it was my sister's birthday the following week. They made a cake for her.
Oh, my
The
God.
community got some money together, gave it to my mom. A friend of a friend told my parents about an apartment in Sleepy Hollow, which was North Terrytown at the time, and we moved in an apartment.
Wow.
You know, my parents lived in the living room for like 10 years.
Wow.
And me and my brother had bunk beds, and my sister had her own room. But I mean, talk about sacrifice, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know. We always had food. I didn't know we didn't have that much.
Yeah, right.
We just happy playing in the street, you know,
Yeah.
meeting people. But we went to the thrift store. I remember the thrift store we had to go to. I know my mom said you can't have video games. If you had a paper route, and you had to earn your money, and if you wanted something extra, you had to, you know, make the money.
Yeah.
And so that was the good times, you know. Going forward, it's like all about community. So we did fundraisers, and I was involved with the community. I got involved with Rotary, you know, Service Above Self. I got involved with some organizations. I was on the board. And I kind of, you know, I was looking at everybody. I met some great people. But in all organizations, there is some people that do a lot of the work. Some people don't do as much. Maybe they can't. But, you know, sometimes it's the same people doing the same thing.
Right.
And I didn't want, you know, I was thinking like, I want to start an organization. And in 2007,
Okay.
my son had double urinary operation. Double urinary, he had hydrocele and valves. So complete overhaul of his body. That was his 3rd operation. My wife had 2 surgeries, and within 8 weeks, this all happened. And I had surgery. So 3 operations in 7 to 8 weeks. And it was rough. It was really rough. And I was telling you before, I wasn't humbled. I thought I was humbled.
Yeah.
I wasn't humbled. I couldn't ask anybody for help. I was too embarrassed, you know? And that was my downfall. The good thing was I had people surrounding me that was loving. There was 2 organizations, CAP and Family Ties, and they told me where to get some food. And, you know, I can say, you know, our cupboards were bare.
Yeah.
and our house was foreclosed on, being foreclosed. And I, I believe in prayer. We did pray, and
Yes.
people looked out for us, and things just happened to work out. But the driving my son to the hospital and 2 o'clock in the morning, not having enough money for the parking garage, not knowing it was going to be $12, $15 to park, you know, going down there, we take it for granted, getting a cup of coffee and a roll. There was no cup of coffee or a roll. So, at that point, I didn't realize like that was going to be a lasting part of me, and to remember that how other people may feel when they got to take their loved ones to a hospital, paying for their parking, or getting them something to eat, or just making them feel better to have something, right? Something.
Yes.
And in 2015, I talked to some friends, and I said, I want to start an organization
Yep.
where it didn't matter it didn't matter how much money someone made. It didn't matter what your income level was.
Right.
What was your hardship? And the big part of that was back when the fire happened,
Yep.
my mother went to DSS in Austin, and it was, in fact, in a snowstorm with all of us. And when she got off the bus, she lost one of her shoes in the snow. And she walked into the office, and there was another woman trying to get some help. She was eating a sandwich, and she had a plastic bag. DSS at the time said she had her W-2s, and
Yeah.
she could not get help because she made too much money the year before. And that was a bitter taste in my mom's mouth for a while because she had nothing. We just lost everything. And the woman that was eating the sandwich gave my mom the plastic bag to put on her foot. That's a true story.
Wow.
And I always remember that because I believe if someone comes to Gullotta, at the time, so that I remembered that part, right? And when I wanted to make this organization, I was like, I'm going to try to help. If someone calls, I'm going to answer the phone.
Yep.
I use my phone number. There's no recording. Doesn't matter in the morning, late at night. I pick up the phone. I want to hear their voice, right? And I got some great people behind me. This logo,
Yep.
I designed that, and that's a part of us, right? I wanted a house. I wanted all different types of kids. I wanted everybody to feel welcomed. All people, anybody and everybody. We're going to help anybody and everybody, all people. And we didn't want to say, oh, you made $80,000 this year, and that's too much. You don't qualify. No, who knows what happened? They had to put out a fire,
Right.
death. A lot of people have their parents living with them, and they have cancer, or they're on oxygen, or they're on special medications. It's a lot of money. They don't have insurance, so it's a drain. It's a big drain, even though they love them and stuff like that. But it's a drain. So what can we do? Can we give them some meals once in a while so they don't got to cook? Can we give them a gift card for gas if they have to travel to and from the facility? It was little things like that. I was just thinking, and when we made it, I was like, wow, we just started an organization. I was thinking about it, and now we have support, and the community was so much behind us in the beginning. And we had no money for a lawyer. I had no money for to have the party.
Yeah.
I did a pig roast with Hawaiian dancers, and some guy donated the beer and the wine, and we cooked it in my backyard.
Wow.
And we had 50 people. We made $3,500. I paid the website person, the lawyer, to incorporate us, and we gave out a $500 donation to a family that needed some help.
Awesome.
And I was like, wow, this is amazing, right?
Yeah.
And there it went. And my ties to the people that helped me in the organizations to this day, I'm still a part of their families or their organizations because they taught me something that was the biggest part of the whole ordeal. I was embarrassed. I had to go to a church basement. I had nice clothes, right? I had nice clothes, but I had no money and I had no food. But I had nice clothes, right? So when I walked in there, I was the only one with nice clothes.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around and I'm like, I feel so out of place. I do not belong here. I should leave. And the woman came over to me and said, oh, are you Mr. Gullotta? I said, yes. Okay, this is your table over here. And I said, okay. And she goes, wait a minute, you have two children? I said, yes. No, you're a family of four. You go to this table. I was like, no, it's okay. She's like, no, you have a family of four. You get 2 extra bags of groceries.
Nice.
And I was like, oh my God. And I had an operation before, so I couldn't even pick up the bags. So they had to help me to the car. So I was feeling worse
Yeah.
I'm bothering them, right? And that wasn't the case. There was so much love. That was the part that changed me. And I was sharing, like, if that person, that representative, was mean, maybe she was stressed out at
Yeah.
work or the children, and she, took it out on me or something, it would have changed my whole
Attitude.
attitude and my perception of, like, what, when someone goes to the situation, how someone should be treated.
No.
Because I am a firm believer, when anybody asks Gullotta House, we don't judge. We do not judge. I do not know what's going on behind that door when they first walk in. Who knows what their hardship is,
Yeah.
right? They're coming and they're probably felt like me, embarrassed or ashamed or
Yeah.
whatever they may want to feel.
I know.
We do not make anybody feel like that, and that's the beauty of it. We change lives. Our first person that we helped was a person called us up, and she was going into rehab, and she needed a suitcase and some clothes. And I partnered with IFCA, and it was a thrift store, right? I called Karen up, and I was like, and she was driving away. She turned around for me, and she was mad. I don't know if we got a suitcase, but we have clothes.
Okay.
And as soon as we walked into the office, she turned the light on, and right by the register was a suitcase. I got the chills. I was like, oh my God. She was like, oh my God. And she called the lady, got her sizes, filled up the suitcase, and she's like, okay, $10. I was like, no, come on, Karen. She's like, no, it's $10. I was like, $10. I went down to the lady. I drove down there. She was so happy with the suitcase because I had 3 little suitcases in it.
Right.
And
Oh my gosh.
all the clothes. And it changed for 10. So a $10 gift, right? It wasn't hundreds. It wasn't thousands. She needed clothes and a suitcase. She got it. She was so happy. That's when I realized it's not about the amount of money you give somebody. What are they asking for?
Right.
What is their need? Right? And there was another person in Yonkers, and he's disabled and he has cancer. He couldn't walk, and he was going down the stairs on his bottom, and his wife goes. It was a bodega next door. I go, come on, let's go get some food. And she only wanted was 1 pound of ham, some cheese, half a thing of milk, and like tuna fish. I was like, no, you can get whatever you want. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Whatever you want. And she's looking at me, and I said, are you embarrassed? She's like, yeah. I was like, I was right in your shoes. I was right where you are. I was nervous. I didn't know how much to ask for. I said, please, you can get more than 1 pound of ham, whatever you want. She ended up spending $76 in this bodega, $76. And she was happy,
Yep.
right? I wanted to give her so much stuff,
Yeah.
but that's not what she wanted.
No.
She was she was content with that. And that's where I found out a lot of people, they don't take advantage.
No.
They just want, like with these fires that happens, and I'm trying to do something with people with fires and floods. We'll go to the stores. I got Bob's Army Navy. He's going out of business, but for 7 years he was my go-to, and we could just call him up and he would go there, and people would go there and they would need a shirt, some jeans, a pair of boots so they can go back to work,
Yep.
hat and gloves, and we're like, don't you want other stuff?
Yeah.
And they're like, no,
That's
this is good. And then we take them to the thrift store, and they would get more stuff, $2 jeans and stuff like that, but not a lot. And again, it's like, I'm like, they can get asked for almost anything.
Yeah.
And it taught me a lesson, and it taught other people who are volunteering with me to see that people, if they're hurting, they just want something that's going to help them throughout the day or the week, and they want to try to get back, right? They just need that little push. They just need that little helping hand. And that's what the exciting thing is. We change lives. People's donations, right? They change lives. Services. We've gotten one thing, because I'm legally disabled since 2001, stair lifts. Like, I never thought in my life I would be hooking up with Osting Pharmaceutical in Osting, and they installed stair lifts, and anywhere between $3,000 and $6,000, right? And we did like 4 of them already.
Wow.
And to see somebody who could not get upstairs to their second floor, and that part of their life is done, there's no way for the family to pick them up, and now they can go up there, that freedom, that independence, let me tell you, it's amazing.
Yep.
And they really appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, this thing is opening my eyes. I never thought we would be able to do so much, right? We just finished Thanksgiving, right? We did one in Sleepy Hollow, giving out meals, like 500 meals. And then we did it in Austin at the St. Anne's gym, and we filled the gym, 800 people, delivered 550 meals,
Oh my gosh.
partnered with other organizations, right? That's the cool thing about Gullotta. I partner with so many other organizations. They can deliver the food. They have their clients, and it's a working relationship. And we just did a holiday chair in Sleepy Hollow also last Tuesday. 800 gifts with food, right? With clothes. I partnered with a bakery,
All right.
hot chocolate and cookies. I just finished St. Anne's on Sunday. Same thing, 700 gifts, 400 meals from the Taco Project. They made taco bowls, gave them away for free. Clothes, right? Santa was there with a DJ.
Oh my
And the
gosh.
community, everybody's coming around, and they're just like, "Thank you, thank you." I'm like, "Thank the volunteers,
Yeah.
thank the people who have donated that we're able to do this." And it was one present, and they were very happy with it. They got their picture, but it was a sense like the families came, and they never experienced getting all this stuff, and we can only do it because we have the donations. We give it out to the people, and they're good. They don't try to take 2 or 3 presents,
No.
right? And my family's a part of this, which I'm blessed. I got my son and my daughter, and when they get somebody that they know that needs some help, and what it's called a community advisor, right? So I have like 35 community advisors up and down the Hudson River, and I don't have to go. I don't have to get involved. So if someone lives, like say in Verplank, right?
Yeah.
I don't need to come to Verplank. Someone that lives in Verplank will meet that person. They know them. They vetted them out, and yeah, they can help them. They can give them the service. They can give them the gift card. They can pick them up and bring them to the grocery store or something, right? And it builds the bond in the community. We do that up and down the Hudson. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
concept. I was like, that's the one thing I'm more prouder than Gullotta. So I'm like, I can't be everywhere. We have to have people
The
that
network.
yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It really
so
is.
it's just I don't know. It's so heartwarming because there's been some times that if you're starting a nonprofit, it's not easy, but you
No.
have to have drive and passion.
Right.
And sometimes you're banging your head because you got bills and you got expenses and you just don't know where it's going to come from. But I just say, just keep pushing,
Yep.
keep pushing forward, staying focused. You're going to
What are
lose.
some of the legal aspects of running a?
So you need an accountant. Some people have their family members or a friend of a friend. I go with an accountant.
Right.
That costs $3,000 for us.
Sure.
You have to have a web. I firmly believe if you have a nonprofit, you got to have a nice website. Not a great website.
No, but
have a
something
donate
where
button,
people
some
could go to.
information, news releases, where they can go resources. I have a resource page all around the area, so people. It's not just Gullotta House. Let them find out about other organizations that might help them. Right. So I believe in a website plus the donate button. You have to. I'm fortunate to have a relationship with a printer.
Oh, okay.
And so my flyers or booklets, or if I'm giving stuff out, it's very discounted.
Yeah.
And I try to promote their business as much as possible. Networking again, give and take. The website, your domain names, your protective things that safeguard someone's credit card, all those services, GoDaddy, and all that stuff. I mean, stuff that in the beginning I didn't realize how much you have to have.
Yeah.
But it is an expense, right? We're fortunate. We have a Gullotta House car. After 7 years, we were able to save up and get one because we travel all around. We pick people up. We pick up groceries. We move furniture. I have a furniture company, McAvey.
No way. Oh my
and
gosh.
a lot. So our biggest thing is like we're fortunate. Red Cross calls us sometimes, right? Domestic violence and CAP out of White Plains, domestic violence. They call us and we'll pick the
Person up.
the man or the woman that's
whoever
having a
needs to
situation,
be.
and it's kind of nice because I'm a big guy. I don't want to be. I never met the woman before or the guy, right? So I'll send women, and I think that's appropriate. I believe so.
Again, and people are embarrassed because they don't want to ask for help. That's the other
they're on the
thing.
side of the road with a bag of clothes, and we're paying them. We'll call up the hotel that we have a relationship with, and they'll
Take care of them.
they'll give them the 3-4 nights to get together.
Yep.
We'll supply the food, and we've been doing that for 7 years.
Wow.
And last September, I was like, I think I'm ready to have a house.
Okay.
And people were like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I want a 5-bedroom, a 5-family, 3-bedroom, because everybody has a lot of kids and
Yeah.
the family members, extended family now today. So I want them to be able to stay for 29 days. And I figured the 29 days because the hotels told me, they said, Matt, it's 29 days because squatters and
Right.
legal reasons, 29 days. Then we ask them to leave one day, then they come back. So I was like, you know what? I like that. For 29 days, they get to pay no rent, no fees. We'll supply breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We're going to supply laundry services and clothes. No organization does that today. Nobody. And we're planning on doing that.
Awesome.
So we started in September. We have $40,000 raised. My goal is after December 31st to have 50,000.
Right.
And then we're 7.5 years young. When we're 10 years, that's when I want to have 350,000 to buy the property, to build, or just convert a 5-family, 4-family, and just let the people come in.
Yeah.
And it's I think everybody's hearing about it and they're like, well, they're not going to pay rent. I'm like, no, you don't understand. There is no rent. I'm picking them up from a fire or a flood,
right.
which we do anyway. Instead of driving to a hotel, they're gonna come to this house, the Gullotta house.
Right.
So it took it's 7.5 years before we even we don't have a house, but we do it out of our house.
Right.
We go to you, and it's been an amazing ride. My events. So how do we fund ourselves?
Right.
We fund ourselves basically with a lot of events, a lot of donations. In the last 2 years, we're very fortunate to be in the county budget. During COVID, this is how we got that. So we were doing at Thursdays at CAP in Terrytown for the homeless, the people at the YMCA, seniors and veterans. We did every Thursday night. We did a dinner for like 40 to like 60 people. And we would go to the local restaurants, get a special meal for that night, and we would serve it. We did that once a month.
Right.
Well, COVID hit. We couldn't serve the food inside, so we had to do outside. So we put it in containers. So I asked them to, it was chicken parmesan over penne, right? And they gave it to us for $3 a dish, right? We had 50 or 60 dishes. We gave it out. No one got. We had our gloves and masks,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it was like, wait, we're not going to just do it here. We're going to go to other communities. So I talked to people who are in some churches, some businesses, schools, and other restaurants, and we went outside their premise. And now we're at 8 locations, right? 7 days a week. For a year and a half, we didn't miss a beat.
Oh my God.
150,000 meals. The news started coming. CBS, Channel 4, Channel 7,
Yeah.
Channel 12. We would do like 50,000, 100,000, 150,000. I'm like, holy, we just did 150,000 meals. And then like outside Stop and Shop, that was our go-to on Fridays. And we would serve. There was 1,500 people.
Holy cow.
1,000 people. Can you imagine the cars
No.
lined all around, all the way going down? And then it was so cool because then they were doing, the fire departments were doing, if it was your birthday, they would come around and beep the horn.
Yeah, I
Right?
remember that.
So we had people who were volunteering, their kids, right? And they would do like their bar mitzvah or their birthday and donate the money for meals.
Wow.
And they would be there, and we would call them up, and they would come by. We have a cake, and they would come by, beep the horns, the ambulance, the fire trucks, to pump up the volunteers, but the little child, right? So that was so cool. But we did that for a year and a half, 150,000 meals. It's documented, and I got a strong bond with 26 restaurants all over Westchester County.
Wow.
And the amount of volunteers, I had 4 operations during that time, right? 4 operations, and I think I missed like maybe 6 days because I was in the hospital. But my volunteers were there,
It's the best, isn't it?
and they didn't want gift cards, they didn't want gas cards. And then here was another thing. So we're in certain communities. Oh, they got a Pathfinder, they got a big truck, they got a Mercedes. They don't need the food. And I would say, listen, we don't judge.
No.
Don't judge a book by the cover.
Right.
We
You don't know what their
Right?
what their situation is.
We don't know
I
the situation
That's
is.
it.
We don't know that big guy who's driving that big truck is a contractor,
Right.
and he is done. He has no work. His kids are in school. They can't pay for the books. They
And
can't pay for the
Who
tuition.
knows how much longer he's going to have that car?
Yeah,
you know?
and he got that nice car, and he's driving down here, what, for a $5 chicken parm with penne? So then we started thinking like, we don't judge. How many meals would you like? Put in a car, 3, 4. We'll put it in the back of the car, and we worked with the restaurants. And I said we started at $3. It was actually the Briarcliff Manor did it for $2.75, and I was joking. And Perry DiNapoli,
Hey, Perry.
He was he was my first restaurant, and he had
Wow.
3 places, right? And there was another restaurant about a couple of months later, and he was getting $4.25, right? And Perry was over there, and I go, yeah, he's getting $4.25. And Perry goes, I'm at $2.75. We did like 5,000 meals. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. You get $4.25 now too. And that was our little joke. But
Right.
he's a big help.
Yeah.
But all the restaurants, can you believe it? And this was
That's
the game plan. They just wanted to pay their busboy and their a dishwasher. They wanted to have those 2 people because that, at the end of the day, was the foundation that they needed: the busboy and the dishwasher. Everything else they could work. They could, they're working constantly. This restaurant, I'm sure,
Oh, yeah. It's
putting a
nonstop.
lot of hours in, right? And it was so nice that restaurant said, you're keeping us in business.
Awesome.
I didn't know. I just thought I was getting really inexpensive meals. We're promoting the restaurant,
Yeah.
right? But we're actually keeping them in business. And we did it for a year and a half. And it went from $2.75 to $3.75 to $4.25 to $5 to $7, and now we're at $8.50. Because a container, people don't realize, like, it used to be 35 cents. The containers now are $1, $1.10 just for the plastic container. That's just a container.
Yeah.
The chicken prices went up, the sauce, everything went up.
Everything.
And we're trying to keep the prices down. It's very difficult. And I'm so blessed to have the restaurant owners see what I was trying to do, come aboard, and just really generously make it work.
Awesome.
Right.
Matt, we got 2 minutes. Just tell us about your relationship with St. Anne's.
So that's my parish, but Gullotta House is we are so blessed. First Baptist Church, synagogues, all houses of worship.
Yeah.
Really, like,
Get involved.
we have commitment. We have relationships and partnership with them all.
Awesome.
St. Anne's is 2 blocks from my house.
Yep.
So they got a huge parking lot, and we just say it's open to everybody. I let all the other churches and synagogues and houses of worship. I'm
Join
like, listen,
in.
come on. It's a big parking lot.
That's it.
They let me promote stuff in their churches to come over there or whatever. And it's a special place because it's close, big parking lot. We can fit a lot of people, and it's in the center of Austin, right? And it's hard today to find a big, unless you're going to rent out a hotel, right? Which we did. With DoubleTree, when it was a DoubleTree, they gave us a great deal, but those deals are over now, right? And so to find a big space, St. Anne's is special, and the people make it what our organization is. My volunteers, it's not me. Everybody says, "Oh, Matt, thank you." No.
Right.
The volunteers, they're leaving their families. They're coming out and helping. The stress, coming out and giving their all to help another person with no strings attached, right? Amazing.
Yep. So thank you so much to the volunteers. We really appreciate that. That was awesome. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for everything. And thank you to the volunteers. Is there anybody specifically you want to thank? It's too many names, right?
No, it's a family now.
Yeah.
We have landscaping. If people need landscaping, we got Dan. Dan, the moving company guy, Brian McAvey, but Perry. But the restaurants, I can honestly say I can't do one.
Yeah.
It's a team. Everybody comes together.
That's awesome.
It's an amazing thing.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Victor Margiotta. This is the community show. We're going to have Matt's website, and you can go and donate or volunteer. Get involved. I'm Victor Margiotta. This is the community show. Thanks for watching.